Good morning. You've been told to hustle harder, to grind 18 hours a day, sleep 4, and brag about it like it's some badge of honor. But let me tell you something. Hustle without direction is just chaos with caffeine. You can move fast and still be headed straight into a wall. Hustle is a tool, not the plan. It's a hammer. You still need blueprints. If you don't slow down and ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing, all that effort becomes noise. You don't win by being the busiest person in the room. You win by being the clearest. Intent beats intensity. So stop worshiping the grind. Start aiming it. Most people think startups die from a lack of money, customers, or ideas. But the truth is, that's rarely the case. They don't starve. They choke. They choke on too many ideas, too many features, too many priorities. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. The pressure doesn't keep you alive. It drowns you. You pile on features nobody asked for. You add projects you're not ready to handle. You think more equals better. But all it does is stretch you thinner and blur your focus. Simplicity saves. Trying to do everything will leave you with nothing that actually works. Learn this early. Doing less with purpose is far more powerful than doing more without direction. You don't need more plates in the air. You need fewer plates that actually matter. You didn't come here for sugar-coated words. And I'm not here to hand you some feel-good story about how success is just around the corner if you keep smiling through it. No. This is a warning. A cold, sharp warning. If you keep running your startup like a chaotic experiment with no focus, no discipline, no real answers, don't be shocked when it all falls apart. There is no miracle coming. No one is going to save you, and if you're still pretending that this is all supposed to feel good and exciting every day, you're lying to yourself. Startups are war, and most people lose that war because they didn't treat it like one. This isn't comfort. This is your call to wake up before you burn everything down without even knowing why. It's easy to point the finger when things go wrong. The market wasn't ready. The investors didn't get it. The algorithm buried you. But let's get honest. Blaming what you can't control doesn't build anything. It's an emotional escape hatch, not a plan. Every time you shift responsibility outside yourself, you lose the power to change anything. The economy doesn't care. The platform doesn't care. And your competition surely doesn't care about your excuses. Blame is a trap. While you waste time complaining about the system, someone else is learning how to move through it. Control what you can. Your discipline, your clarity, your decisions. The rest, accept it, adjust to it, and move forward. Ownership is your only way out. Anything less is surrender in disguise. We love to believe that our problems are out there, other people, outside forces, broken systems. But here's the truth, most won't say out loud. The real enemy is staring back at you in the mirror. It's the hesitation, the scattered focus, the fear that keeps you second guessing. It's not the world that's stopping your startup. It's your habits, your mindset, your refusal to face the uncomfortable. You build walls around your own growth by choosing comfort over clarity, motion over meaning. It's not a competition problem, it's a confusion problem. If you keep looking out the window for answers, instead of looking inward, you'll never fix what's broken. Own your patterns, because if you're the problem, that also means you're the solution. The silent killer isn't always another company, it's the fog inside your own mind. Startups don't crumble from attack, they decay from within. Confusion about your customer, your product, your path, is poison. You can't hit a target you haven't defined. One day you're building a product, the next you're tweaking your logo. You jump from vision to vision, without anchoring anything. That's not progress, it's drift. And here's the thing, no amount of money or speed will fix confusion. In fact, they'll only make it worse. If you don't have clarity, everything becomes urgent, and nothing becomes important. Before you worry about scaling, get focused. Confusion kills quietly, it doesn't announce itself. It just eats everything from the inside, until there's nothing left. You're always working, always building something, always doing something. But let's be honest, are you actually moving forward, or just staying in motion? Being busy is the easiest way to feel productive, while avoiding real progress. You tinker, tweak, adjust, because it feels like you're doing something. But busy isn't the goal, impact is. And most people stay busy to avoid facing the hard truth. They don't know. Stop hiding in your task list. Start asking what actually moves the needle. You don't need more to do. You need more that matters. You feel like you're sinking, like nothing is working, like you're drowning in missed targets, unclear goals, and wasted weeks. But what if you're not drowning? What if you're just drifting? There's a difference. Drowning is sudden. Drifting is slow, silent, and far more dangerous. You don't even realize how far you've wandered until you look up and don't recognize where you are anymore. A startup without direction doesn't collapse, it just slowly fades out of relevance. You don't need to swim faster, you need a compass, you need a clear point to row toward. Otherwise, the current of distraction will carry you to nowhere. You don't need more fuel, you need the right direction. There's a dangerous place every founder eventually enters, and most don't even see it coming. It's not burnout, it's not fear, it's fog. Founder's fog. That space where your passion for the vision becomes so loud that it drowns out logic. You're so emotionally tied to what you want this to become that you stop seeing what it really is. You ignore the warning signs. You dismiss real feedback because it doesn't match the picture you've painted in your head. You double down on ideas that aren't working because you're afraid to admit they're not. And before long, you're not building a business anymore. You're just protecting your pride. Passion is powerful, but when it blinds you, it becomes poison. You need precision. You need reality. Because vision without truth isn't leadership, it's fantasy. The most dangerous founder isn't the one with no plan, it's the one too stubborn to see their plan isn't working. You've built something impressive, a product, a platform, a brand. The rocket is ready, but here's the hard question. Do you even know where you're trying to go? Or are you just building because building feels good? People confuse motion with direction all the time. They assume energy means progress, but speed without aim is just chaos. You burn fuel, burn time, burn yourself, and still feel stuck. If you're pushing full throttle with no real destination, you're not going anywhere. You're just burning out faster. The rocket is only useful if it has coordinates. Don't just launch, navigate. Don't just build something fast, build something that lasts. Because if you don't set a course, you'll end up lost, no matter how powerful your engine is. You wake up early, you hustle late, you're in meetings, on calls, answering emails, tweaking code, checking dashboards, building decks. 16-hour days, no breaks. And yet nothing's moving. The product still feels half-baked, the team still feels lost, the customer still doesn't really care. How is that possible? How can you work so hard and still feel stuck? Because busyness is a disguise. It gives you the feeling of progress without the substance. You're reacting all day, putting out fires, replying to every ping, chasing every idea. But that's not leadership. That's noise management. A startup needs direction, not just energy. You need to stop and ask, what actually matters today? What will move this forward tomorrow? You're not being paid in effort, you're being judged by results. Don't confuse tired with effective. Being drained at the end of the day doesn't mean you made progress. It might just mean you ran in circles. Being constantly in motion doesn't build anything. If the movement has no meaning, movement feels good. It feels like you're doing something. Updating the site, tweaking the app, posting on social, planning next quarter. You're busy, you're active, you must be making progress, right? Not always. Here's the trap. Activity feels like accomplishment, even when it's just distraction. You check tasks off a list, but none of them actually matter. You move, but you don't move forward. And that's the trap too many fall into. They replace hard choices with easy actions. They confuse noise for traction. Real progress is often quiet, it's focused, it's uncomfortable. It requires you to stop, step back, and think deeply about what's working and what's not. But most don't slow down long enough to ask the real questions. They're too busy running in place, trying to look like they're winning. Movement is cheap. Progress is rare, and knowing the difference is what separates the survivors from the burned out. Let's cut through all the hype, the branding, the features, and the funding stories. Why did you start this in the first place? What was the pain you saw? What was the thing you couldn't stop thinking about? And more importantly, what problem are you really solving? Because if you've lost touch with that, everything else is just noise. Too many founders build startups, not out of purpose, but out of escape. Escape from boredom. Escape from a job they hated. Escape from feeling small. But you can't build something great just because you want out. You build something great because something out there needs fixing, and you've chosen to fix it. If your product disappeared tomorrow, who would miss it? If your company shut down, what would actually change in the world? If you don't have clear answers, then what you've built isn't a solution, it's a distraction. Purpose isn't a tagline, it's the foundation, and without it, your house won't stand. You can survive chaos, you can survive setbacks, but you will not survive without clarity. Clarity isn't a luxury for later, it's oxygen. It's what keeps your team aligned, your product focused, your energy targeted. Without clarity, you drift. Without clarity, you choke on decisions you should have made days ago. You get stuck in loops, repeating the same mistakes, solving the wrong problems, fixing what doesn't matter. Every day without clarity steals from your future. And here's the brutal truth. If you don't fight for it, no one else will. The market won't hand it to you. Your customers won't spell it out. Your team won't magically find it. You have to earn it. You have to dig through the fog, challenge your assumptions, and face the hard truths. Clarity isn't comfortable, but it's necessary. Don't wait until everything falls apart to finally look up and realize you had no idea where you were going. Get clear, or get out of the way. Winners simplify. Losers complicate. That's the brutal divide. The more complicated your startup becomes, more offers, more audiences, more jargon, the faster you lose momentum. Simplicity is a weapon. It cuts through noise, it clarifies decisions, and it drives execution. The most powerful mindset: one product, one promise, one target. Say it again: one product, one promise, one target. That's how you build traction. That's how you build belief. Because every time you try to chase two rabbits, both get away. Focus builds speed. Dilution kills it. Think of it like this: if you try to water every tree in the forest, your own plant dies. Your job isn't to serve everyone. It's to solve one painful specific problem for one clearly defined person. That requires subtraction, not addition. Cut the bloat. Strip the fluff. Get rid of anything that doesn't serve the mission. Stop adding. Start subtracting. Ruthless clarity is the new unfair advantage. So here's the gut check. Can you say what your company does in one clear human sentence without buzzwords or filler? If not, you're not ready to grow. And even deeper, what problem are you actually solving? Not what you think sounds good, but the raw, real pain your customer wakes up with. Until you can answer that with piercing clarity, you're not focused. You're just busy. Ideas are cheap. Everyone's got one. That next big app. That brilliant product. That perfect pitch. But dreaming is easy. It costs nothing. Doing, on the other hand, costs everything. Doing is sacrifice. Doing is discipline. Doing is facing reality, instead of hiding in fantasy. That's why execution is rare.
Here.
The people who actually build through boring days, through hard decisions, through quiet work that no one claps for, those are the ones who rise. Because genius alone won't save you from going broke. There are 100 failed startups with smarter founders, better ideas, and grander visions. But they didn't follow through. They waited. They tinkered. They believed brilliance was enough. It wasn't, because the gap between vision and reality, that's not filled with passion. It's filled with systems. Not flashy ideas. Systems. Daily habits. Clear priorities. Focused schedules. Feedback loops. Structures that catch mistakes before they become disasters. Systems that remove guesswork and replace it with repeatability. Passion lights the fuse, but systems carry the rocket. Without systems, everything falls apart. And let's be clear: no structure, no feedback, no progress. You can't fix what you don't measure. You can't grow what you don't track. And you'll never build something lasting if you're afraid of doing the same hard thing over and over. Mastery is boring, and that's why most people miss it. So here's the question: you can talk like a CEO, but can you operate like one? Can you make hard calls when nobody's watching? Can you hold the line when it's not exciting? Can you stop dreaming long enough to build what you say you believe in? This is the difference. Talkers wait. Builders execute. Motivation is a spark. It's the rush you feel after watching a video, hearing a speech, or reading a quote. It makes your heart race, for a moment. But sparks fade. Sparks die. Sparks are gone before the real work even begins. Obsession is different. Obsession is a furnace. It doesn't just ignite, it burns, day and night, through the highs and the lows. Obsession doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't need reminders. It doesn't depend on mood. It's the fire that never stops burning, even when the world forgets. That's what builds something real. Because if you're not obsessed with their pain, you'll never solve it. And by there I mean your customer, the person on the other end of your product. If their problem doesn't keep you up at night, you're just playing business. You're chasing status, not service. True obsession is rooted in empathy, not ego. It means caring so much about their suffering that you refuse to look away until it's fixed. It means going deeper than features and functions and diving straight into what hurts them, and not letting go until you deliver something that actually helps. Motivation fades. Obsession fuels. Obsession lasts. Obsession wins. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel ready. Obsession says, I'll do it because I have to. Motivation asks, what's the reward? Obsession says, this is the reward. Motivation waits for the perfect time. Obsession starts before it's ready. Obsession doesn't check the weather. It builds in the storm. It doesn't care if the room is full or empty, because it's not here to perform. It's here to build. And that's the test. Would you still build if nobody clapped? If nobody watched, liked, shared, or praised you, would you still keep going? Would you still wake up and work on that idea if nobody gave you credit? Because if the answer is no, then this isn't obsession. It's entertainment. You don't need more inspiration. You need to bleed for the solution. You need to go all in. You need to stay in the trench, long after the cheering stops. This work will ask more of you than you're ready to give. It won't ask for your best days. It'll demand your worst ones. And that's exactly when obsession shows up, not in your highlight reel, but in the pain, the boredom, and the silence. That's where real builders are made. Startups don't die from chaos. They die from boredom. Everyone expects the struggle to be wild, fast, and dramatic. What they're not ready for is the dull middle. The unsexy daily grind, the endless repetition, the invisible wins. It's not failure that takes most founders out. It's fatigue from doing the same thing over and over, without immediate payoff. They want adrenaline, but what this game demands is patience. They want fireworks, but what builds real businesses is the slow drip of discipline. That's the trap. If it's not exciting, they think something's wrong. But that's exactly when they're doing it right. Building a business is like brushing your teeth. Every day, twice a day. Whether you feel like it or not, it's not glorious. It's not thrilling. It's not even particularly creative most of the time. But if you skip it, things rot. That's the deal. You don't win by going hard for a week. You win by showing up for years. Success isn't fireworks, it's bricks. One brick, every day. Stack them. Lay them with care. Some days they feel heavy. Some days they fall. But over time the wall rises. The foundation forms, and from the outside, people will think it happened overnight. But you'll know, it was every dull, disciplined rep that made it. Quiet, gritty reps, done daily build empires. Not talk, not hacks, not sprints, just showing up when no one's watching. Especially then, because it's not what you do when you're inspired. It's what you do when you're bored. That's the gap. That's where most people stop. But if you can learn to love the repetition, to find meaning in the mundane, you'll outlast them all. Master the boring, or be owned by it. This game doesn't reward those who chase dopamine. It rewards those who chase discipline. Choose wisely. Burnout, isolation, exhaustion. You're not broken, you're building. Every founder hits this wall. Every entrepreneur wakes up some days and wonders if it's worth it. The emotional toll is real, and pretending it isn't will only deepen the weight. You're not weak for feeling tired. You're human. This journey demands more than most people will ever understand. The pressure, the risk, the weight of every decision on your shoulders. It's lonely. It's exhausting. But you are not alone. This is the cost of chasing something that doesn't exist yet. It's the mental marathon. The long, grinding stretch between the spark of the idea and the day the world finally sees what you've built. So let me ask you something real. When it gets hard, and it will, what will keep you going? Not the views, not the likes, not the applause. Those fade. What's left when nobody's watching? When it's just you and the screen? When you're out of inspiration, but still responsible for progress? That's where your why has to be louder than your fear. That's where your belief has to stand up stronger than your doubt. You can be tired, and still be unstoppable. You can cry, and still move forward. You can question everything, and still refuse to quit. Tired doesn't mean done. It just means, you're in the middle. Keep going. Because the river doesn't cut through the rock with power. It wins through persistence. Drop by drop, inch by inch. It carves the path, because it refuses to stop. That's how you'll win too. Not by having more talent. Not by moving faster, but by showing up, again and again, and again. When others quit, you keep flowing. When it's slow, you stay steady. When it hurts, you stay focused. So here's your mantra. Stay in the game. Stay in the fight. Stay in the fire. Let it forge you, not finish you. Let it sharpen you, not stop you. Stay. Pilots don't crash because they change course. They crash because they ignore the alarms. The same goes for startups. You can see the red lights flashing, the metrics stalling, the customer signals changing, and still, out of fear or pride, you stay the course. That's not bravery. That's blindness. The pivot is not a retreat, it's navigation. Great founders aren't those who never flinch. They're the ones who know how to adjust before the whole thing burns. Don't get so obsessed with your initial direction that you fly straight into a mountain. Adaptation isn't failure. It's flight control. The mission is what matters, not your attachment to how you thought it would happen. Don't marry the idea so hard that you murder the mission. Let go of the ego that says, it has to work this way. No, it doesn't. It has to work, period. That's your job. The route can change. The tools can evolve. But the mission, that stays locked. If something isn't working, that's not shame. It's data. You didn't fail. You got feedback. You learned. You adjusted. That's the difference between those who scale and those who stall. Progress isn't always forward. It's sometimes sideways, backward, diagonal. Whatever it takes to stay aligned with the actual outcome that matters. The strongest founders aren't the ones who dig in the hardest. They're the ones who ask, what's working? What's not? What needs to change? And then they change it. Fast. This isn't about giving up. It's about leveling up. Pivot like a pro. Will your story be a cautionary tale or a case study? That's the question every founder has to answer, whether they admit it or not. One day someone will tell the story of what you built or tried to build and how you moved when things got hard. Did you panic? Did you blame? Did you disappear into silence and excuses? Or did you rise, recalibrate, and take one more swing when it mattered most? The legacy isn't shaped by the pitch deck or the launch hype. It's etched in the decisions you make when no one's watching. And here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect, just persistent. The world doesn't need another polished founder with a fragile ego. It needs builders who bleed, stand back up, and try again with dirt on their hands and fire in their chest. Relentless execution will beat occasional brilliance every single time. Don't just build. Build like it matters. Build like people are counting on you, because they are. Build like every action you take creates the story that will be told after you're gone, because it does. This is your work, your name, your shot. No more blaming, no more hiding, no more waiting. Build when it's hard. Build when it's silent. Build when you're scared, because it's not too late. It never was. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You're right on time for your next move, your next version, your next victory. Now go make it count.